Letter from a New Zealand parent to Ettie Rout.
We write this in great agony of mind. Our son has returned to New Zealand riddled with syphilis. He has told us of the temptations. You know what they are. Will you write to our other son and tell him anything that is necessary to protect him? He is engaged to be married, and if he came home suffering in this way, it would be awful, awful. Forgive our making this appeal to you and believe that it comes with our united love.
Sorry, Miss Rout, but Major Parks isn't able to see you today. Perhaps you could come back.
And perhaps I couldn't, Corporal.
You can't do that, lady. The Major is indisposed.
Major Parks, I demand to know what preventative measures you were taking to stop the spread of venereal disease amongst our men.
Corporal. Miss Rout, I'm very busy
And 3,000 New Zealand servicemen have been infected in Egypt in the last 12 months. But perhaps you have been too busy to notice.
How dare you, madam? I'm astonished that a lady should even mention such things. The medical authority...
The medical authorities? Go and look for yourself in the brothels of Cairo.
Get out of my office. In all my life, I've
Women
never...
with running sores, used by men, one after another, like a public lavatory.
Madam, remember you are a New Zealand lady.
Yesterday, I saw a boy of 16 coming out of one of those whorehouses.
Give me his name, I'll have him sent into the guardhouse.
Why not behind the stable door, Major? Calomel ointment, potassium permanganate, and a sheath. The Australians are supplying prophylactics. The calomel is used before...
I will not tolerate such behavior in my office, Corporal.
Before connection, the sheath is worn during...
Remove this person, take her out now.
Intercourse! Then the area is swabbed with potassium permanganate. Men are dying, being crippled. It's all needless. Forget your little Bethel morality. Think about the wives and children who are going to suffer. I mean, do you want that on your conscience? When are you going to stop burying your heads in the sand?
Ettie launched a campaign in the New Zealand press calling for preventative measures against venereal disease. This public stance strained her relationship with the volunteer sisterhood. In 1917, she prepared to leave Egypt for London.
The others, I know. They think I'm bringing the sisterhood into disrepute. If only you'd leave it to the proper authorities. I can't. Amy, there are no proper authorities. But the things people are saying... I walk into a room and nice people turn their backs. Soldiers who don't understand what I'm trying to do for them call me filthy names in the street. I'm castigated in the press. Some people say that you enjoy all that. Everyone craves acceptance. Even me. So, why go on?
Come on, all right, come on.
Extracts of letters to Sir James Allen, Minister of Defence. The Church of England's Men's Society, resolution of annual conference.
That this meeting desires to make an emphatic protest against the propaganda which is being carried on under the auspices of Miss Rout, advocating the use of prophylactics, etc., by our soldiers as a direct incentive to the practice of vice.
and from the Women's Christian Temperance Union, Wellington.
Our union considers it a disgrace for any woman to be allowed to insult the New Zealand lads by offering them prophylactic outfits.
The Women's National Council of New Zealand wrote,
"It fills every decent woman with horror that she or any other woman should be allowed to have anything to do with such work. It is an affront to the modesty of both the men concerned and every woman in the Dominion."
And so it went on, letter after letter, all ending with the same request as the Auckland Civic League.
Mom! And that the government be asked to end Miss Rout's demoralizing propaganda among our soldiers in England by deporting her at once.
Thank you.
That's the smartest salute I've seen around here for a long time.
In loco parentis, General.
How do you do? I've been looking forward to meeting the redoubtable Miss Rout. Your reputation's preceded you.
Reputation is often a notorious liar.
In the present case?
You must be the judge of that.
If only the British would clean up their own mess. 2,000 prostitutes on the streets of London alone.
Well, then advocate the establishment of licensed brothels subject to medical inspection.
I can't be seen to condone immorality.
Would you rather condone syphilis?
Many of them see VD as a way out. One can hardly blame them.
Except they have no right to inflict that on their children.
No.
I still don't see why the men can't be issued with prophylactic kits.
Privately, I might agree with you.
Might, General Richardson?
But if only one could proceed with diplomacy.
I was brought up to tell the truth and shame the devil.
No, but sometimes the truth has to be dressed in a more acceptable form.
You mean an unofficial form?
Precisely.
A bishop in the House of Lords dubbed her the most wicked woman in the world. The Prime Minister of New Zealand forbade the press to publish any more communications from Ettie Rout on the subject of VD. But unbeknown to the complainants, the Hornchurch Medical Club was now being run officially by the New Zealand Army Medical Corps.
Well, what do you think?
I don't know how you managed it.
All totally unofficial. It's called dressing the truth to a more acceptable form.
You're becoming a diplomat at last.
Assistance from the blind side of General Richardson, but most of all, your brother. See? Medical advisor, Dr. W.H. Hornibrook, who will be assisted by his brother, Staff Sergeant Hornibrook. Actually, I had the posters printed before we even wrangled your transfer.
I've missed you, Ettie.
Oh, darling Fred.
Ettie now turned her attentions to France. She had long been an advocate of clean, licensed houses, and when she arrived in Paris, she looked for one which would provide for the soldiers' needs without the dangers of infection.
Mademoiselle Rout, n'est-ce pas?
Oui, madame.
Au revoir, madame. Joséphine. Oui, madame. Passe sans ton parapluie. Tu ne dois pas attraper un autre rhume.
Merci. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Il faut toujours les surveiller. Entrez,
Madame Yvonne's discreet salon proved to be all she could wish for. And as the troop trains arrived in Paris, Ettie was there to meet them.
Dear sisters, take these cards. This is my hotel, food, baths, and we'll look after your money. Madame Yvonne's broth, all the girls are clean, but as an extra precaution, they are so wash with solution made from potassium permanganate.
Ettie opened an hotel for rest and recreation just opposite the railway station. Men from the front lines were fed, counselled and cared for. The socialist agitator had become mother to many reckless sons.
You can leave your money with me if you wish. Men from the front are an easy target. The greatest danger is from the girls of the boulevards, the pin money amateur. If you have to have a woman, stick to the professional and take proper precautions. Remember that I'm here to help in any way possible. So go on, off and enjoy yourselves. You don't want to waste your precious time listening to me for too long.
So you're going to see your first can, Who's she? Their stuff will go blind. Oh, they're what, though?
I just wanted to say thanks for all you're doing.
Vilified on 3 continents. Not bad for a girl from Christchurch, eh?
Well, most of the lads think you're halfway to being a saint. Reckon you ought to be given a medal or something. I was on the Somme. I'm no hero, but I reckon you got more courage than any of us. You got to live with all that.
No, it's enough to make an archangel molt. My father was always quoting the Bible. There is a shame which bringeth sin, and there is a shame which is glory and grace. Haven't seen much of the glory and grace yet.
Oh. You will.
Have a good leave. Meanwhile, I must write to the Prime Minister. It's a very one-sided correspondence.
Anyway, thanks.
At the end of the war, Ettie and Fred were married and became part of a group of freethinkers living in London. Ettie wrote, travelled and lectured, but her campaign for a more enlightened attitude to sex education was strongly resisted. Even today, Ettie could well be considered radical. She returned to New Zealand in 1936, and while revered by the many she had helped and supported by the RSA, she was still an outcast. Ettie died in Rarotonga at the age of 59 from an overdose of quinine. Many say her spirit was broken.